Welcome to Jimmy Dragon Studios. I'm Jimmy Dragon. Today's video is going to be about me trying a new art supply. In the last video, I mentioned that I had gone to the art store and that I bought something I was wanting to try out. So this week I am trying out these Golden Fluid Acrylic paints. I decided to buy the carbon black and the titanium white variants of the paints. For me, I felt getting these paints were something I could use in the future if I don't buy any other colors of this series. I could use the black to fill in areas or the white for other special things I could use white paint for. Anyway, the Golden brand of paints are pretty expensive to buy. These two tiny tubes of paint were on sale when I bought them. However, at 20% off the price, I still paid about 10 Canadian rupees each for these paints. So about $20 for the two paints. Yeah, ouch. Yeah, all that aside, I started my sketchbook spread you see here with some simple sketching. I honestly didn't know what to sketch or draw today in this sketchbook. I just know that I wanted to draw something and try out these paints. I started to try out the paints. I have to say that I now understand why you would want quality paints to paint with. I also understand why you would want at least halfway decent brushes too when painting also. I will explain that later in the video. Right now the paint is of good quality. It goes down pretty smooth as it is, but when you at least add a little water into the mixture of the paint, it goes down like warm butter. I also think that the coverage of this paint is pretty good. It covers well in the first pass of the paint. Well, I am thinking at this time that it is black paint, and for some reason, I was thinking I could ink with this paint. However, I think that I would need a bigger surface to do that. I find this stuff interesting, but after playing with the paint, I felt that inking with this paint probably wouldn't be the right choice for me. Because of my background, I should use traditional ink pens like I have been using over the past years. At least that is how I feel. Maybe with more practice using this stuff, I might think differently. Which leads into my next part of this video, the actual drawing I'm working on today. You see, I went into the sketchbook spread without an idea of what to draw. I then turned to the internet. I first looked up in my search the word of the day, and the word that came up, I just didn't know how to draw that. If you're curious, the word was fortuitous. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, fortuitous is a formal word that usually describes something that comes or happens by a lucky chance. It can also mean happening by chance and fortunate and lucky. Yeah, I had to look up how to pronounce the word. I'm not very good at this stuff. Anyway, I did not use that word for this drawing. I looked up another website that had an artist prompt generator on the site. I like that one much better. Prompt that I ended up picking from the generator was a tiny witch. You know, I need to practice my chibi drawing skills. So with that, I set out to draw the tiny witch you see me drawing here. In the end, I ended up drawing my character Ella Lindstack as the tiny witch here. So I'm calling this piece Tiny Witch Ella. In Ella's story, she is a mage and a magic user. Why not have her dress as a witch too? If you have made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you. You might also consider tapping that like button. I would love it, and it helps out the channel. Okay, back to the drawing. So I started to ink the drawing now. I have always said that the inking of a drawing is my favorite part of the drawing. That is still true. I felt that maybe with this drawing, I should have just inked the drawing the traditional way that I am used to and should have left it at that. But of course I didn't. I started to use the acrylic paint on the drawing. Yes, it went down smoothly and it covered up all the areas nicely. But me using a brush on the drawing wasn't the best thing. Now remember when I mentioned that the quality of the brush matters too? Well, I felt that goes well here. The brush I was using was a cheaper brush. The ones you might see in discount packaging at your local big chain art store. Michael's. Excuse me. Hope I'm not getting sick. The brush was okay, but I had a strand of hair that was sticking out of the brush. It was in a way that was poking out at the tip of the brush. I didn't see it at first, but it made the inking a bit more challenging at the beginning of using it. I then had to take a pair of scissors to the tip of the brush, and that solved the issue. But overall, I just found using the brush challenging for me. Like I said before, I think I need more practice. Okay, so in the end, I found this tryout interesting. I tried using the white paint as a way to show more of the outlines of the inks I originally placed down. I was also a bit heavy-handed with the brush, and I ended up making the white paint strokes a bit thicker than I wanted to. So I went back with the ink pen and cleaned up the strokes. I went back with the ink pen on the whole drawing just to make it pop more. Alright, I think it's time to wrap up this artwork I did of my little witch Ella. I do hope that you did enjoy the artwork and my process of the art and trying out a new art supply for myself. If you did enjoy the video, tap that like button below. In case you haven't yet, there is the subscribe button down there you can tap too, if you'd like to see more content from me in the future. You might also like my last video I did, where I revived the ink pens I had in storage. I bought an ink refill along with these paints I used. With that, I thank you much for watching, and we shall see you in the next video.